Welcome to Zyla English.
Everyday English conversations for speaking practice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zyla English. I'm Emma.
And I'm David. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Welcome to our series, Most Useful Sentence Patterns to Speak Without Hesitation.
In this series, you'll learn simple and useful sentence patterns that native speakers use in real conversations.
These patterns will help you speak more naturally, respond faster, and feel more confident in English.
Each episode gives you clear examples that you can use right away in daily life.
If you enjoy learning with us, please subscribe to Zyla English and share this episode with a friend.
Your support helps our channel grow, and we truly appreciate it.
All right, are you ready, David?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Our first pattern today is you'd better.
You'd better. This pattern is used to give strong advice or a warning. It means you should, but it sounds more serious.
Yes, it's stronger than just saying you should. For example, you see your friend is sick, but they want to go to work. You're worried about them. So you say, "You look really sick. You'd better stay home and rest today. You don't want to get worse."
You'd better stay home is strong advice. You're warning them that going to work could make them sicker.
Here's another situation. Your friend is planning to drive somewhere, but it's starting to snow heavily. You're concerned about safety, so you say, "It's snowing really hard now. You'd better leave soon before the roads get too dangerous."
You'd better leave soon shows urgency. You're warning them that waiting could be risky.
And one more example. Your colleague forgot to send an important email to the boss. The deadline is today. You remind them, "Oh no, you forgot to send that report. You'd better send it now. The boss needs it by 5 p.m.
You'd better send it now emphasizes the urgency. It's almost a warning that something bad could happen if they don't act quickly.
Perfect. So remember, you'd better is used to give strong advice or warnings. It's more serious than you should.
Great. Now let's move to pattern number 2. How do you like your?
How do you like your? This pattern is used to ask about someone's preferences, especially for food and drinks.
Yes. For example, you're at a coffee shop with a friend and you're ordering for them. You ask, "How do you like your coffee? Do you take it black or with milk and sugar?"
How do you like your coffee? Asks about their preference for preparing coffee. It's a friendly way to find out how they want it.
Here's another situation. You're cooking steak for dinner, and you ask your guest, "I'm making steak for dinner. How do you like your steak? Rare, medium, or well done?"
How do you like your steak? Asks about how they want it cooked. It shows you care about their preferences.
And one more. You're making eggs for breakfast, and you want to know how your roommate prefers them. You say, "I'm making eggs. How do you like your eggs? Scrambled, fried, or boiled?"
How do you like your eggs is a common breakfast question. It asks about their preferred cooking style.
Exactly. So, how do you like your is a polite way to ask about someone's preferences, especially for food preparation.
Okay, pattern number 3 is I used to.
I used to. This pattern talks about past habits or situations that are no longer true. It means something happened regularly in the past, but doesn't happen now.
Yes. For example, you're talking with a friend about exercise. You say, "I used to go to the gym every day when I was in college, but now I'm so busy with work, I barely have time."
I used to go to the gym every day means you did this regularly in the past, but you don't do it anymore. It shows a change in your habits.
Here's another example. You're discussing where you lived before. You tell someone, I used to live in a small town when I was a child. It was very quiet and peaceful, but now I live in a big city.
I used to live in a small town shows your past living situation has changed. You don't live there anymore.
And one more. You're talking about hobbies with a colleague. You say, I used to play the piano when I was younger. I took lessons for 5 years, but I haven't played in a long time.
I used to play the piano indicates a past activity that you don't do anymore. It's a way to talk about how you've changed.
Perfect. So I used to is used to talk about past habits or situations that are no longer true in the present.
Great. Now pattern number 4 is I'm a bit.
I'm a bit. This pattern is very similar to I'm kind of that we learned in part 2. A bit means a little or slightly.
Yes, it's used to make your statement softer and less direct. For example, someone offers you a very spicy dish at a restaurant. You're not sure if you can handle spicy food, so you say, "Thank you, but I'm a bit worried about the spice level. Is it very spicy?"
I'm a bit worried shows mild concern, not extreme worry. It's a polite way to express hesitation.
Here's another situation. Your friend invites you to go hiking this weekend, but you're not in great shape. You say, "That sounds fun, but I'm a bit out of shape right now. Can we do an easy trail?"
I'm a bit out of shape. Admits you're not very fit, but in a gentle way. It's not as strong as saying, I'm completely out of shape.
And one more. You're in a meeting and someone asks if you understand the new project. You're not completely clear about it, so you say, "I'm a bit confused about the timeline. Could you explain that part again?"
I'm a bit confused shows you need clarification, but you're not completely lost. It's a polite way to ask for help.
Exactly. So, "I'm a bit" is used to express something in a softer, gentler way. It makes you sound more polite and less extreme.
Now, let's move to our last pattern for today, pattern 5. It's time to...
It's time to. This pattern means that the right moment has arrived to do something. It suggests you should do something now.
Yes. For example, you've been working on a project for a long time and it's finally finished. You tell your team, we've worked really hard on this. It's time to celebrate. Let's go out for dinner.
It's time to celebrate means the appropriate moment has come. You've earned it and should do it now.
Here's another example. Your friend has been in a bad relationship for a long time and they're unhappy. You give them advice. You've been unhappy for months. I think it's time to move on. You deserve better.
It's time to move on suggests that the right moment has come to make a change. It's gentle but direct advice.
And one more. You've been studying for hours and you're getting tired. Your roommate notices and says, you've been studying all day. It's time to take a break. Your brain needs rest.
It's time to take a break indicates that the moment has come to stop and rest. It's a suggestion based on recognizing a need.
Perfect. So, it's time to is used to indicate that the right moment has arrived to do something. It often includes gentle suggestion or advice.
Wonderful. We've covered 5 more amazing patterns today.
We did. Now let's review all of them quickly. Listen carefully.
Pattern 1. You'd better. You look really sick. You'd better stay home and rest today.
Pattern 2. How do you like your coffee? Black or with milk?
Pattern 3. I used to. I used to go to the gym every day when I was in college.
Pattern 4. I'm a bit confused about the timeline. Could you explain that again?
Pattern 5. It's time to... You've been studying all day. It's time to take a break.
These patterns are so useful. You can use them every day in real conversations.
Absolutely. Try to practice them in your daily life.
Start with 1 or 2 patterns, then gradually use more.
And don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes help you learn.
That's right. The more you practice, the more natural these patterns will become.
And remember, this is part 3 of our series. We still have more patterns coming in future episodes.
Yes. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss part 4, part 5, and all the future episodes.
Each episode gives you 5 new patterns to help you speak without hesitation.
By the end of this series, you'll have a huge collection of patterns that you can use anytime, anywhere.
So everyone, keep practicing and keep learning.
Before we finish, please don't forget to subscribe to Zyla English.
Yes, and give this episode a like. It helps us create more content for you.
And share this episode with your friends who are learning English. We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to part 3 of our Essential Sentence Patterns series.
We'll see you in the next episode with 5 more amazing patterns. Keep learning, keep growing.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye!